In this tutorial, we'll set up your company. Once you've downloaded the QuickBooks software onto your computer, you'll get this desktop icon. Simply click on it, and it'll open this page. In the top box, you'll see any companies that were opened with the previous version of QuickBooks. Otherwise, on the three bottom buttons, you have the choice of creating a new company, open or restoring an existing company, or opening a sample file. Here, we'll create a new company. Here, you'll see your options are to start the interview, convert data, or skip interview. Here, we'll start the interview. On this page, you'll enter your company information, including company name, the legal name, tax ID, street address, city, state, and zip, country, phone, fax, email, and website. Well, right now, I'm just going to put in company name, the only required field. Next, you'll be asked to select your industry. You can scroll down for the full list. For our example here, I'll select General Product-Based Business. Now you're asked, how is your company organized for tax filing purposes? I'll select Sole Proprietorship for this example, but as you can see, you can select any button depending on how your company has been set up. Once you've selected, then click Next. Next, you're asked to select the first month of your fiscal year. For the purposes of this example, we'll make the calendar year the same as our fiscal year. Once you select a month, click Next. Setting up a password is optional. However, I'd recommend it so that only you and anyone you give the password to will be able to open your company's important financial records. Simply type in the password, then retype the password, and click Next. Now you'll be asked where you want to store your company file. Click on Next, and this will open a box where you can choose your file name and where you want to store it. QuickBooks pre-selects the company files folder. However, you can choose any location that you'd like. Once finished, click Save. This will bring you to the page for customizing QuickBooks specifically for your business. First, you'll be asked, what do you sell? Services only, products only, or both services and products? For this example, I'll click on the button for both. Then you're asked if you sell online. In this case, we'll say yes. And next, do you charge sales tax? That'll depend on what state you're in. Here, I'll say yes. And next, do we want to be able to create estimates in QuickBooks? I'm going to say yes. Do I want to do sales receipts? Yes again. And next. Do I want to be able to do statements over time? Once again, I'll say yes. And next. Now QuickBooks asks if we want to do progress invoicing, which is billing in increments based on progress of a project. Although QuickBooks recommends no, I'm going to click on yes because I would like to have that option. And next. Managing bills. Yes, I'd like to keep track of my bills. QuickBooks can also print checks directly. At the moment, I don't currently need it, but it is a nice option to have. So I'll click the middle button that says I don't currently print checks, but I would like to, so I have that option in the future. And next. If your business has inventory, you'll probably want to keep track of it. So I'll click yes, and next. Do you accept credit cards? Check the appropriate button, and click Next. Being able to keep track of time, I think, is always a good idea. So even though QuickBooks recommends no for the business, I'm going to click yes. If you have employees, you want to click yes. If they're paid through payroll, you'll click on the W-2 employees. If you have independent contractors, you'll click on the 1099s. And next. If you're doing business with foreign countries, you'll want to use multiple currencies, so click yes, then select your home currency in the drop-down menu here. I'll stick with US dollar and click Next. Now, QuickBooks will help us set up our chart of accounts, which will keep track of business expenses, profit and loss, and more. Next, you'll want to select the date that you want QuickBooks to start recording your company's finances. You can start at the beginning of the fiscal year, or you can select the date, either today's date, or go to the drop-down menu and you can select any date you'd like. Once selected, click Next. And now you can add your bank account. You can name the bank account, which is particularly handy if you have multiple accounts. You'll also need your bank account number and the bank routing number, the currency, and when you open the account. If your bank account is already active, you want to get your last statement and enter in the ending date and the balance. You can also enter multiple accounts. Next, you'll be able to choose which accounts you'd like QuickBooks to keep track of. The recommended accounts will already have a checkbox next to them. My rule of thumb is if there's any chance I might use the account, I'll check it off, so I always have that option to use it. You also have the option to restore recommendations, which will reset the accounts to only the accounts that QuickBooks recommended. Also, if you'd like to deselect an account, simply click on the checked box. We're almost there. The final step is to set up your online user ID. Simply put in your email address, select a user ID, choose a password, put in your name, company name, and phone number. And in case you forget your password, set up a security question and answer. You can review the terms of service by clicking on the blue letters and select a checkbox next to I have read and understood terms of service to confirm. Congratulations, we're ready to go into QuickBooks.